Okay, awesome. I believe we are live. Welcome in everyone to 5 Day Challenge. Looks like we have a few people that are waiting as well. I'll go ahead and let them in. Hey, Ethan, thanks for jumping in. I'm already live, so it looks like everything's working. And let me just double check the streaming real quick. If you are watching this and you can hear me clearly, inside of our Facebook groups or our public pages and channels. I would definitely appreciate some comments. Put a one in the chat or tell us what city you're checking in from. That'll be a great way to get connected with other people. So just so you know, I'm expecting less people for this call as usual. What we normally do is on Monday, we jam pack all and everything you need for the 5 Day challenge. So you don't have to literally sit in for all 5 days. And so we turn Tuesday through Friday more as like a Q&A type of session, where on Monday it's all teaching and strategies, and you get exactly what you need to be able to go launch. So just real quick for the 5 Day challenge, in case if today's your first day, I'll just do a quick review. It's a program we have here. It's at a high level that will help you get your first paying customers. Doesn't happen all the time, but most people do really well with it. And our goal is to get you to your first paying customer, and that's it. So it's a lot more simpler of a launch. We don't, teach you how to do thousands of cold emailing and cold calling every single day, but we will basically put together an organic strategy to help you get to the market and at least launch your beta. As part of the 5 Day challenge, we also have a 30-day trial, which we normally don't provide in other areas. So you can take advantage of it in case there's a lot of you that took advantage of this, by the way. So in case if you need any help, you can talk to someone in our Zoom pods. We have Zoom pods open 24/7 where you can talk to some of our team members, ask questions. If you're lost, whatever, like there's plenty of people that's going to help you as well. And then in addition to that, we have an amazing community. So we have four private Facebook groups, the official one, the Sashpreneur one, and we also have one as a job network in case if you want projects or things like that getting done. And then we recently launched a private Facebook group for just the 5 Day challengers, which is amazing because I think it's a group of folks that are brand new to high level, regardless of where they are in business. And some people are actually even new in business for the first time launching an online offer. So that's exciting. So get connected with people. We hear a lot about lunch pop-ups and dinners and happy hours that are all rising up in all cities across the US from it. So looking forward to seeing you there. So as part of the 30-day trial, you get access to all these freebies, which is you get two snapshots, one for yourself and your client potentially, workbook, you get access to the Facebook group, marketing collaterals, and a ton of cool things. So take a look at it. This should be accessible to you inside the course. If you log in, you'll be able to see it. Remember that we've progressed over time on these freebies, so you may have to go through every single one of them. The titles may not match, or the brochures, or whatever. And then we also have a public Google Drive where everybody can log into, and you can see like the white label onboarding video or white label videos and all of that. So take a look at it, and that's part of the 30-day trial that you get. Just to quickly review the concept and strategy around the 5 Day challenge. Number one is have a single offer. MCTB is what we recommend. Expand into core offers within 72 hours. Rule number two is start a beta around a round of customers with your warm network instead of going cold. So that way you can make mistakes, you can let them know, you can charge at a lower price. You can really set the right expectations as you're trying to figure out and make sure all the fulfillment is in place the way you would like it. Rule number three, go with the setup fee 1000% and then have a recurring charge and do a low ticket of 297 per month, even if you have additional expanded offers for thousands of dollars. Rule number four, my opinion, is launching products is a whole lot easier than services when you do bigger tickets as part of your SaaS offers. So take a good look at the type of service and expansion offers you have. Make sure they are more product driven or at least productized versus heavy services. If you go heavy services, one, you'll have a lot of churn. Plus, you won't be able to scale as fast because everything's dependent on you or your team or your talent, things like that. The business model is right here. We have the gateway offer, the core offer, and the expansion. We have the optional downsell in case if somebody wants to cancel, you can park them back into your uh, offer. Okay, so let's do open Q&A. We'll start with folks that are already inside the Zoom, and then I'll look at the streaming. And any questions that you may have around the 5-day challenge, today is the perfect day you want to ask. 1 second. Let me double check my. Okay, awesome. Cool. All right. Let me just double check here and see if there's anybody in our public page asking any questions yet. Okay, no questions yet. So yeah, anybody have anything that they're working on? Someone said I have a question. So yeah, raise your hand if you don't mind, if you have a question, and then start your video or unmute yourself and we can go through it. It looks like Cheryl. Cheryl says she has a question. So let me just go ahead and add you to, there you are. Okay, awesome. Cool. Hey Cheryl, how's it going?
Hi, good. How are you? And I apologize because I don't see the raise hand feature for some reason.
That's okay.
Um,
That's okay.
so I'm a little behind on my challenge, but I am getting caught up. And
Okay.
I worked on the technical side of it to get it set up. And I think I'm missing something. And I actually got on with support
Okay.
yesterday,
Okay.
and I think we weren't necessarily in line. So,
Okay.
or and he, so we have our phone number that we have, and I had it forwarded
To the new
to the
number.
new number that we put in place, which we are not completely approved yet. So maybe
Okay.
that's part of the problem. But
Okay.
in general, so if they call that number, they get sent to my voicemail and it gets forwarded to that number. And then the number, once everything's set up, should be sending them the text message, right?
Correct.
Okay, so the what we are also trying to do is that if they get a text message from that number, they're going to think that that's our new number or that's a number for us.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
if they call it and then they try to, I have it forwarded to our mainline number,
Uh-huh.
but then that was like kind of going back and forth. So what am I missing? I missed something, I think. Something in the automation didn't quite work.
Yeah. So you have an existing number for the business, right?
Yep, had it forever.
So
Yep.
yeah, you had it forever, and that's a landline or a regular line, like a phone, like a cell phone number.
It's a voice over internet line. Yeah.
Okay. So then what you're doing is adding a new tracking number with the new number that you purchased essentially. And you're
Correct.
you're forwarding that and you're publicizing the new tracking number out there in the market. When people that's the way you
Oh.
that's the
So
ideal way you want to go about it. So whatever the new number is should be public and that's the number everybody calls in. Now, you'll come across business owners that are resistant of that. They're like, "Hey, I had my number forever. I don't want to
that's
change
right.
it." If that happens, don't sweat it at all. Add the new number as a secondary line. So have two phone numbers in all profiles. Google My Business it allows you to add a second number, and that's the way you want to go about it. Ideally, you want them to like use the new number. Now
Guys,
that's the biggest objection that you will come across with this type of offer where it's miscalled text back, everything's driven around the phone numbers, which is also another reason why I don't recommend working with seasoned businesses because they have numbers forever. They have it in their trucks, they have their billboards, they have their TV commercials, everything's already very known. So a lot of times something like this is ideal for like a brand new startup or someone that's been in the business just now for like a year or two because they don't have all the phone numbers all curated. It hasn't been marketed well just from observation. So, but that is
okay.
a reasonable objection you'll get. I don't want to touch my phone number. How do I get my phone number to do this? Well, your phone number is not going to do this. The new forwarding number is going to do the actual feature and recognize there's inbound phone calls or inbound text messages or whatever. So it's kind of the reverse that we're trying to accomplish.
I see. Okay. I thought it was just from taking it and forwarding it to that number that it would generate the
Yeah, you're
That
in a way you're masking their existing number with the new number so then you can track it. You can have it for tracking. And that usually works if you can show ROI. You can tell them, hey, here's what you're missing out on by not tracking in 2024. And then if they say no, remember, like our whole point of missed call text back is for you to have a reason to get into the sales conversation. It's just a
right,
Trojan horse. If they tell you, Paulson, you know what? I like everything you're showing me, but I don't want to touch my phone number. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say, okay, no problem. Leave your phone number alone. Can I add a secondary line in case if you don't pick up that first line, it'll forward to the tracking number and our automations will fire off. But let's go ahead and set up your reviews. Let's go ahead and set up your chat widget. Let's go ahead and set up your GMB and start tracking other areas. And like you're in the business already.
right. So in this case, where I mean, I don't even want to change mine. You know what I mean? Just because it's been out there for a long time. And I
Sure.
mean,
Yeah.
and one of my businesses has a vanity number, right? So I don't want to
Sure.
change it. But
Yeah.
but if I set it up so that it forwards to that number, it can do everything except if they call that other number, it is not going to ring back into us, into our
Yeah.
main line, because
That
otherwise it'll just keep bouncing back and forth.
correct. It'll loop from what I know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank
But it's
you.
better than not having any any automations at all.
Right. Right. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.
Awesome. Now, if you post in the communities, people could go into details on this as well. I'm not the tech wizard in the crowd, just for sure. Just so you know, but I'm happy to at least just guide you as much as I can with my minimal knowledge. Looks like Ria has a question, but Ria, let me see if I can add you to the spotlight there. Oh, I'm sorry, Risha. Hey,
Krishna,
how's it
yes.
going? Yes, sorry about that.
That's
Um,
okay.
where are you checking in from again?
So from Toronto,
That's right. Yeah, I remember now.
yes,
Yes.
yes. So first question, how do I get added to the Facebook group? Because I've been trying since Sunday, and I'm
Okay.
still not part of the group.
Yeah. So once you request access, there's a questionnaire that happens. If you fill out the questionnaire, our communities team will go through it and match up your information with your billing. And
Right.
then that billing matches, they usually lets you in the Facebook group. And I would just say, when did you request it?
Since Sunday, and I've been trying again. I've even put in
Okay.
my
Okay.
ID.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good. We'll have somebody on the team look at your profile. And does your profile match your information? Like,
you
okay,
should.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, my name. Yeah, everything should be the same.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just nudge the team and just double check it and we'll get you access to it.
Okay. Second question, onboarding. When we're onboarding, because I have the SaaS profile, for onboarding a new client, I know that I can charge for the phone number. For example, are we doing this as part of the 5-day challenge, or are we actually just it's the amount and everything is included as part of it?
Um, I guess your question is the cost that you have to buy the phone number, text messages, are we including that to the client? Is
Yes,
that,
yeah,
that what it is? Okay.
yes.
So in the beginning stages, I don't recommend it. I
Okay,
recommend you taking the cost on
okay.
yourself and having a smaller margin.
Mhm.
Now, let's talk about what kind of margin we're talking about. Um, when it comes to text messages, phone numbers, and all of that, a local business, if you're working with local businesses that I recommend, mom and dad small shops, it'll cost you around $50 to $60 in total cost of text messages, phone numbers, tracking, A2P, all these different things. I think 50 to 60 is like a good range to shoot for in a local business. Now, if you're working with like a car dealership and they got 30 agents there and they're pounding the phone calls, that obviously that's not the number you're going to get. But I don't like the idea in the beginning stages to, sell ice cream and then ask for 5 more cents for the cone, right? Like I just don't like that, especially in the beginning stages. Eventually, you definitely want to set the stage for prospects, right? So you want to tell them, hey, listen, for you to text as a business to a person, there's costs attached to it, just like how you would buy an iPhone and then you got to pay Verizon for the plan, right?
Right.
So similarly, there is some kind of this charge, and I'll educate them on what it is, and I'll educate them that I'm covering it. I don't not mention it at all. I'll tell
Mhm.
them, hey, I am gonna cover about 70, $80 worth of cost. Some months it might be just $10. We don't know, depending on your usage. And remember, there, even though we're set up for missed calls, because it's a public line, you're actually covering costs of all phone numbers, all calls. It's not just the
Okay.
missed calls. And the numbers that I'm sharing is thought through on the full volume of phone
Mhm.
calls. So 50, 60, like I had a dentist that I worked with, and we were spending like almost 25 grand a month in advertising, like Facebook ads, Google ads. We were going buck wild with it. And even then, my monthly cost of text was around 85 to $90
Okay.
with paid ads follow up, with full on like I was like doing manual triggers and all kinds of crazy stuff back then. But yeah, your costs should be less than 100, which is why I say have a setup fee. Don't go below the 300 threshold
Right.
that I'm talking about because you're gonna break even. Like you have a $80 cost of text, then it's gonna cost you typically $200 to land a new SaaS
Mhm.
plan, like a user. So then usually that first month is like you're burning through it, which is why I don't recommend that price change at all. If anything, go up. Most people go up to $1,000 a month once they have everything set up. Hopefully that gives you some answers and ideas.
It does. And so it's something that we can actually mention as another, like as we're GMB and all of that, we can actually say, well, we're also doing this for you as well. So making it
Yeah,
even.
you're ideally the justification is you're charging $297 a month for missed call text back, GMB, web chat, reviews, mobile app, and all the secondary features as well. I mean, they're getting all of high level.
Right.
We're, from a sales language, we're staying in a narrow lane so we don't confuse them.
Right.
That's the only thing I'm recommending in the challenge. It's like
Mhm.
we're selling high level, you're selling high level. Like at the end of the day, they're not going to know all about high level because they're not marketing people, they're not automations people, they're not going to understand the full range of the platform. So you can limit the platform in their usage and you can toggle on and off features so it doesn't confuse them or anything like that. But ideally, yes, to justify the pricing, you're giving them all of high level and setting it up for them and showing them how to use it and creating a use case scenario for their offers. So it is worth it to them at those prices.
Great. And my final question is around the you had mentioned, I think, in a previous call this week that we should go and look at some of the 3-day workshops that you did in the past, which I did. And so I found one that really resonates with me.
Okay,
But at the
which
same
one? Which
time,
one? Tell me which one you liked.
Andy a day,
Andy
because I do
Audet. Yeah.
presentations I do webinars for work. So I'm like, this is perfect.
Oh,
This is what I can
perfect.
do.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
like, I have no idea how to set any of this up. And I think I called and messaged to say, can I get this snapshot or the videos or whatever? And
Yeah.
right now, it doesn't seem as if I can. Is there any way I can
You should
actually
be
get
able
access?
to. Yeah.
Okay.
So the for those of you, if this is your first time ever even hearing the words 3-day workshop or virtual workshop, so every single month I usually partner up with somebody that's like crushing it in the community, like doing 7 figures a month at least. And I'll ask him, hey, can you come in and teach our community something that no one knows? And
Amazing.
that's where we talk about like the heavy stuff of like, okay, let's launch 10,000 emails a day. What does that look like? What should the team be, worried about? Like we go in for 3 days. Now, we've done that now since like last August. So there is something for everybody. We've done, webinar workshops, paid ads workshops, Google workshops, content workshops, AI workshops, sales workshops. I promise you, my goal is to undercut all education in the digital world. My goal is to just provide all information to all marketers out there, so you don't ever have to be like you don't have to be lost in not knowing the info. Now, Risha, yes, you want to pick one, and you think the webinar one is the best one. So, a couple of ways to go about it. If you go to our workshop resources, so the first thing you want to do is go to this Looks like Ethan said he found your request for the Facebook request. Let's see. So you want to go to gohighlevel.com/GHL resources. Okay. Now, when you go to this website, this is not a website. This is a public Google Drive that our marketing team and our affiliate team set up for all
Okay.
of you. So you just log in and download stuff whenever you want. It's just wherever we house things. You go there and you'll see 5 day challenge collaterals. You'll see workshop collaterals. You see SaaSpreneur collaterals. Even the mastermind stuff. I'm tempted to add stuff from the mastermind in there. It's basically for you. It's all free. So from every workshop, whatever collateral snapshots these guests provide me, whatever resources they tell me or provide for us, and they're doing this for free, by the way. So, and some of them charge 20, $30,000 for coaching per student. And they
Right.
come in and they're like, hey, we'll give it all away because we know you, we have a relationship. So yeah, if you go to the Google Drive, you'll find the resources. Now, there's nothing wrong with reaching out to those guests
Mhm.
directly and saying, hey, Andy, I couldn't figure out a certain snapshot step, and they have support teams that'll jump on a call with you as well.
Right.
I don't control any of that and police it. Some of them will charge you for consulting and all of that.
Mhm.
They run their own business. But typically in the program, in the workshops, I go through if we're giving away like a snapshot, we usually review the snapshot.
Mhm.
So yeah, take a look at that resource, reach out to Andy. And that's probably the best thing I would say you can do to get something going.
Right. Yeah. So I'm in there right now. I don't see the snapshot. I see the PowerPoint. So,
Okay, let me double check here. If it's not there,
and I did
GH.
reach out to him as well on Facebook to say, is it possible to get this? But I'm sure he's quite busy. So,
Let me see real quick. Andy, actually, you're right. It looks like the drive is missing there's every drive. If you go to Joel Kaplan, you'll see that there's a Google sheet or
Google
like a
Doc. Yeah.
doc, and it looks like Andy's is missing. So I'll go back and find the links and throw that in there later today. But yeah,
Okay.
sometimes
Perfect.
it's the thing, so just remind me. We might have forgotten. That's probably what happened. But I'll go back and add those links then there. I have it in like a bigger file, master file. So yeah, I'll set that up for you. Okay.
Thanks.
Awesome. Cool. Let's go with David. Hey, David, let me go ahead and put you on the spotlight. Do you mind turning on for some reason, if you don't turn on your audio or video, it doesn't allow me to add you as a pin. I don't know why. But anyways, David, where are you checking in from? What's going on? What kind of business do you run?
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm
Yep.
from Milan, Italy. Well, I'm
Okay,
studying
cool.
in Milan, Italy. I'm originally from Latvia. And
Awesome.
my question to you was, so when I was creating my first 100, I ran into a problem where I realized that my network is zero. I don't have a network. And then I checked out BNI meetings in Milan, which I could go to and like network and find some connections. And I realized that all of those meetings are in Italian, and I don't speak Italian. So now I have like this problem where I don't really have a way of creating a network and creating that first 100 and that starting that beta
Right.
client. So,
So what market are you going after in general? Like what are you trying to do?
well, at the moment, I'm just trying to get the ball rolling with this Mescal tech stack and like not niching down, trying everything I possibly can. So,
Yeah, there's two ways to go about this in this scenario that you're describing. One, you can go paid ads directly and just go launching paid ads. That's what I think everybody should do. Cold emailing and cold calling. Obviously, you got to learn it from one of the workshops that I'm doing and launch it. And that's the first option you have, doing outreach without the organic component. The second part that I would potentially recommend is, are you a salesperson or more of a tech wizard?
uh, I would say more of a tech wizard, but
Okay.
not really, like I'm better at tech, but not like a master
What do
at
you
it.
what do you enjoy? Do you enjoy sales or do you enjoy tech?
I think I would enjoy sales. I don't have any experience in sales, but I think I would
Gotcha.
join sales. Yeah.
Gotcha. So the second option is you can partner up with someone that already has a network, right? And be a provider with them or partner like if you meet like another high leveler or another business person online, I would say, "Hey man, I'll handle your tech for you and I want to do sales as well. Can we do this together?" All I want to do, the only limitation I have is I don't have a direct local network. Now that's if you don't want to do paid ads. If you can do paid ads, I would just say save up like $1,000 and just go full on paid ads. That's the way I would go about it because you want to, get inbound leads. Now, if you launch paid ads in Italy, good chances are lots of those leads are going to be Italian speaking as well. So then you need to decide whether if that's the right local market. And if you speak English really well, it seems like you do, I would go beyond just Italy. I would go all first world countries. I would go UK, South Africa, Australia, US. Like you need to look at the regulations and different pieces of all those markets. The Scandinavian countries, like as well as like Sweden, all those countries, they're all popping off right now, honestly, with high level left and right. Like there is influencers there in Sweden. They will just create one organic post and I get 100 trials because nobody knows about it. It's a whole new world. Like SMS marketing is new in that world, right? So
Mhm.
so you can play actually a lot of different cards depending on what type of business you want to build. Um, but hopefully that gives you some ideas, like
Yeah.
that.
So you're saying that if I do Facebook ads, $1,000 a week, a month, what is the like optimal?
I would just first of all, before you do any ads, watch one of the workshops around paid ads, right?
Okay.
So Ali Bloyd, I did a paid ads workshop. We gave away the paid ads, we gave away the workflows and funnels and everything that you should use. She runs, millions of dollars worth of ads in a year, so it's like it makes sense for you to learn from it. Now, that's just a starting point. It may or may not work for you, right? Then another person we did paid ads with was Joel Kaplan. If you go to Joel Kaplan's workshop, which the bad part about it is it's like 12 hours long. It's really long. Each day we were spending like 4 hours together. But fast forward through it and get to the paid ad section with Isaac Rubel, who I've known Isaac for at least 10 years. The guy's a rock solid genius when it comes to paid ads, runs millions of dollars worth of ads, and he gave away Facebook ads as well, Instagram ads, workflows and funnels. So you have a starting point to get somewhere. I would just start there. In reality, $1,000 to me is like a good starting point to just figure out, and you can spend that $1,000 in 3 hours. You can spend that in a month, but at the end of the day, there's going to be a cost of acquisition attached to it. By the time you get to maybe 300 or 400 of spend, you'll find a client. So then you need to measure, okay, if I spend $2,000, I can get 10 clients. Like you need to figure out that threshold because all it takes is the first two or three clients to come in. After that, you have the money that comes in and you reinvest that back into paid ads. And then eventually, by the time these customers hit the second month, you have now a new recurring baseline to work off of. But yeah, look at one of those workshops and strategies before launching. But it seems like in your scenario, I would either partner up with someone in an English speaking language that has a network and do the fulfillment for them, go 50-50 and build the book of business without you having to penetrate a market. That's what I would do in the beginning. There's plenty of tech people as well in this call as well as these communities that are like, "Hey, I'll take somebody that's starting off in sales that likes sales. I'll figure out ads, I'll figure out networks." Like, there's a place for both. And that's kind of how I started off back in the day. I went and worked for an agency out in Vancouver and handled all their sales for them. And I learned the ins and outs of how an agency runs. And they were running like, 300 clients to the stem cell space. So, it's all possible. These are a couple of ideas of what I would do if I were you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hey, awesome. Let's go with Chris. Let's see. Let me go ahead and These spotlights, I'm sorry, these Q&As are pretty insightful. We get a lot of great feedback about it, so keep the good questions coming. Let me go ahead, Chris Boat. Let's see. Let me go ahead and how do I you may have to turn on your Chris, you may have to turn on your audio and your video. Otherwise, it doesn't allow me to pin you and bring you on. Nope. Yeah, are you there, Chris? Let me just go ahead and I'll wait for Chris there. Let me just double check in our public pages, see if there's any questions there that I haven't gotten to. Let's see. Chris says you're trying to unmute. You should be able to unmute. Allow people to unmute, allow people to start video. Try now. It looks like our settings was um, yeah, I have it turned on where you are able to unmute and rename and start video. Let me just see. I'll wait for you to figure out the tech there. Looks like you should be able to. Um, and let me go ahead and go through. Yeah, you're gonna have to go to your microphone settings and unmute yourself. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's see. Kurt says replays are available for how long? So you have 30-day access to the private Facebook group for the 5-day challenge. And after that, you lose access, but you do get moved into our official Facebook community, or you'll get the invitation to the Facebook communities and the SaaS communities as well if you're on the 497 plan. And you can interact there with questions or whatever you want, and we're usually able to help there. But ideally they're there forever, including the YouTube channel for other replays. So 5-day challenge, we don't publish it in YouTube, but we started streaming. So the live videos are there for a few days, I believe. But they don't get saved if I'm not correct. I don't know if I'm correct, but I don't think the lives get saved off in certain channels, depending on that. But if you come into the Facebook group, it's there forever. Okay. Let's see. Carl says, "Hey Mark, I would like to discuss A2P whenever you're available. Please connect with me." So I think that's for Mark Cantrell. Mark has been pretty helpful in a lot of our communities and he did the A2P a couple of times. So we talked about it yesterday. So it looks like people are reaching out to you, Mark. Let's see. Um, Someone says, what is GMB? GMB is Google My Business Profile. So whenever you search, nearest dentist near me, you'll be able to, on a search engine like google.com, you'll see business profiles that pop up of dentists near you. Those profiles are essentially similar to like a social media channel where somebody has to maintain it, update it, keep up with it. And that's where a lot of the Google organic traffic goes to. And then usually like a local business can easily get 500 calls from something like a GMB in a month if they're ranking very high and their, setup is done right. Okay. Let's see. Looks like Serge and Chris. So let me go with Chris. I think Chris, you might be back. I Let me go ahead and have you unmute and turn on video. And it looks like we'll go with Serge until then. Serge, are you available? Let me just go with you. Wait, what happened to Serge? There you are. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah,
There you
can you hear
are.
me?
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Yeah, we hear
Hi,
you.
Paulson.
Hey, where are you
Yeah,
checking in from?
Florida, Tampa.
Okay, nice, nice. Awesome.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Paulson.
Yep.
Really insightful everything that I've been listening to, and I've been following up like with the group as well, like reading, and if anybody's having like issues on the like on some topics, what you can do is like on the group, just look for the search button
Oh
and
yeah.
type in, for example, A2P and search for all the topics or all the threads that have been related to that. That's really helpful just to find out more responses to that. So actually, in regards to the A2P verification, I've been already like 3 times failed, and now on the fourth one waiting. So my question is like, how long does it usually take if everything is correct? Because I did follow the instructions like just like everybody was showing, and it was, I mean, I'm still waiting on it.
Yeah,
How
so
long?
usually the A2P regulations went live in the US, I believe September 30th of 2023. So it's only been few months. In the beginning
Mhm.
stages, there were hundreds and thousands of businesses trying to get approved. So in the beginning, it was like it took like 3, 4 weeks. Some people it took even 5, 6 weeks. Now it shouldn't take more than maybe 2, 3 days max. That's if you have certain
Okay.
like, but I've seen people get approved as fast as 1 day or 8 hours. So it
Okay.
shouldn't take too long.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was assuming like the first fail came like within 4 days, I think, and
okay.
then every after that, like 24 hours later. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming it shouldn't take more than 24 hours if everything is set correctly after the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
attempt.
24 hours for a local business is pretty reasonable. Certain industries, just so you know, will not get approved, no matter how well you fill out anything. So there are industries that they just won't let you text anymore. Certain type of business.
Is there a list? Sorry to interrupt. Is there a
Is
list
there a
of,
list? No, it's just the patterns that we've seen. This is so new that the
okay.
regulators have not came out and they haven't provided much resources. But we've noticed like certain industries like real estate, it takes longer to get approved. Certain industries like cannabis, like they just don't get approved no matter what you do. So like there are patterns that we're seeing, but I would definitely watch the webinar on A2P, and there's also other people in the community now that you can pay to just do all the A2P stuff or just get some resources like Mark, do you want to share a little bit about it? Let me just pin Mark on because someone also asked about Mark as well. Mark, if you are able to just let me just add you. And Mark, your question was who was asking you about A2P in the Facebook page, our public page. Carl, I,
Okay.
Carl, I think said, "Hey, can I talk to Mark?" Because he talked about this yesterday. So, Mark, can you answer like some of the concerns Serge has? You've gone through it 4 or 5 times and got approved, right?
Yeah, I've seen
Yes,
Mark's
sir.
actually response right there. Hi, Mark. I've seen
Hey, how's
response
it
and
going?
actually a full list with a link right there, and I followed Mark's directions with my last with my last
Last
uh,
attempt. Okay.
attempt. Right. I'm still waiting on that. Should be sometimes today.
I'm not
Oh,
gonna lie, you caught
The
me
response.
again. I was trying to find, I guess it was Carl. So I had two of your videos. So I'm not 100% sure what your question is because Paulson was talking two different
no
videos at the
worries.
same time.
No worries. His question was, how long does it usually take for A2P to get approved? And he attempted it multiple times now, and it looks like it failed. But like on average, what are the timelines that you see?
The fails take a lot longer. So my last one took 17 hours, and the one prior to that was like 4 or 5 weeks, but it was also four failed attempts. So it kind of does vary because you're submitting this in and somebody's visibly looking at it themselves. So you're kind of waiting for a actual person, from my understanding. Now, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
I'm not on
you
the
are.
other end of A2P, but
You are.
um, so yeah, you're waiting for an actual person. So yeah, those response times can obviously vary depending upon the demand and whatnot. But my last one
Did
was
it
like
help?
within a
Did it
day.
help to? Did it help to include everything on one page, like you include it in that file, like in that topic,
Yes, you don't
that you
have to.
included right there in the heroes section? Just included the opt-in checkbox and the terms and conditions, like right there, so that people or whoever is checking, they're not looking throughout the whole website and going through links step by step in order to find out
Yeah, just an
or to
FYI,
search for.
they won't crawl your website. So they will like click in to make sure that your terms of services there, your privacy policies there.
Okay.
But that link needs to be on the homepage. Your opt-in, if it's not on the homepage, that's perfectly fine. You need to take a screenshot of it and basically save it to a Google Drive to where you can put that in place when you're filling out, here's my opt-in form. You give them an address to where they can see the screenshot of your opt-in form. Now, just to forgo all that, that's the reason why I recommend putting it in the hero section, just so they click right on your website and they say, okay, there that is, there that is, there that is. Okay, good, let's go. And it's just less work for them, which also, equivalates to it happening quicker.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know, are they testing the whole workflow, or they just looking at the language that's
It's all about the
related to
language because technically your workflow is going to be ever evolving. So they can't really just keep going on with
Right.
your workflow. So they're just going to go off of, he says that he's trying to do this and this is okay to do. So let's go ahead and push it through.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
And
remember
then,
other platforms and technology and software systems, like I mean, it doesn't matter. They have to look at all different types of tools. So they're not going to look at our tools or any your tools or anybody's tools. They just want to make sure you're not a random pirate set up with the call center out in like, I don't know, Jamaica or India or Asia pirating the US customers. That's the main goal that they're trying to have. So they will look at certain campaigns if they feel like they want to. It's like you're at their mercy of what they feel that day, in regulatory compliances. But that's what they do at scale. This is millions of businesses trying to get approved every single day now, right? But go ahead, Mark. You were finishing. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no. I think we're good. I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, it
I
just
think we're good.
varies upon.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
No
Okay.
problem.
And another question, Paulson.
Yeah.
Like after we are done with the, let's say, onboarding the well, not the first client, but the client with the MCTB offer, with the Google reviews, with the, like everything that's included with all the bonuses, like how much support after that are we?
So you have to think like a software company and not an agency, right? Agencies, it's like, hey, let me set up and go and get out of the way. I don't have to talk to them too much. With software, it's the opposite. The first like 2 weeks, I would stay as close as you can. Like, I mean, if that means you got to Zoom with them every single day for 2 weeks, it's worth it, right? It's worth it because once you get them to use the platform, they are a forever client, right? So ideally, that touch point is only heavy in the beginning, which is why you must have a setup fee so you can build a team around it of maybe having like a team player that handles all onboarding. Like you need to have like a success manager, and that's why I say have that setup fee. But ideally, to answer your question, as much as you can in the beginning, first like 2 weeks. After the first 2, 3 weeks, they're pretty stable. They're like, okay, I know how to do this, I know how to do that. I'm seeing my familiarity. My team members are now using it. Everybody's downloaded the mobile app. And at that point, you can just kind of take your hands off, check in with them once a month. I mean, we hear often of people not ever following up after the first month. I mean, and they're just stable on there. Like when's the last time someone from Zoom called you? You've had a Zoom account for how long now? Right? So we're using the tool, we're using the platform in a live session.
Yeah,
Nope.
mostly about reporting, like what the status of campaigns.
Correct. Correct. Now, if you offer expansion services, if you offer Facebook ads, Google ads, and all of that, then your touch
Yeah,
points
that's a
and
different
reporting,
story.
that's why I don't recommend any of these marketing services anymore. It's too
You
much.
don't recommend on top of
I'm not a
the
fan. I'm not a
service?
fan because if I want to make more money, I'll just go sell more of what I can sell at the 297 mark that has zero fulfillment, right? Like let's say you're offering $2,000 Facebook ad service. What's the point of
Yeah.
that? You're making $2,000, then you got to spend 30 hours fulfilling it, right? I rather go sell five more 297 missed call text back and the SaaS because once they're using it, I don't have any fulfillment and I make my $2,000 that way anyway,
Right.
right? So when I think of that and the fulfillment side, I don't think it's worth it to have heavy amount of expansion. So what I've seen most people do is like 5x your expansion services pricing and be the top leader. Like if you're charging $2,000 a month usually on Facebook ads, go up to $10,000 a month and work with industries that'll pay you $10,000 a month. And then take
Mm,
like
okay.
10 customers, make 100 grand there a month, which is pretty reasonable, pretty doable, versus taking high volume of expansion services. Is that like if you still want to do
Yeah, it does make
it?
sense. It does make sense. Obviously, like that expansion offer, it goes for those clients that you already have a relationship with, like they already signed up a few months into the core offer, and then you can have a closer look at the account and see like, look, you missing traffic, or let's see what we can do, like let's target more
Yeah,
local audiences for you on
1000
Facebook or
1000%.
other.
The whole SaaS play that I'm teaching here is just an avenue for you to explore that. Like you can
Yeah.
sell more expansion services because of this approach, because they have a relationship with you. They're like, oh yeah, I'm only paying $300. The guy's taking care of everything. I don't have an issue. Let me go with this marketer versus anybody else that I don't know. So your ability to sell more is gonna be there. But that doesn't mean you should sell. You decide your pricing that makes sense for you. I think everybody should, crank up your pricing and do less clients in for your bigger book of business because no matter what you do, we know that's going to churn. 72% of all agency services churn in the first 90 days, regardless whether you provide white glove service or not, whether you provide amazing results or not. 72% of your book of business typically gets canceled. And that has nothing to do with you as the provider. That has more to do with the market, their budget. There's so many variables of why they cancel. The front desk lady could just quit on them and they're like, well, nobody's answering phone calls anymore. I don't want to do paid advertising. There's so many like variables of why they do that. But knowing that, you can build a predictable business that way because the market is so shifty and very, there's so many problems with that business model, which is why all these agencies inside of high level are going crazy about the SaaS play because they're like, dude, I can build this out, not ever have to do sales and marketing anymore after like a year. Yeah, literally, you don't.
Yeah,
That's what's happening.
true.
Okay. So hopefully that gives you
Okay.
some answer. Any follow-up to
Yeah, thank
that?
you.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me go ahead and go with Chris. Chris, did you fix your let me see. Chris.
It's working.
Okay, awesome. I don't think let me go ahead and
And
ping.
you've got my face too.
Okay, awesome. There you
So
are.
thank you. Thank you
Okay,
very much
awesome.
for your patience and
Sure.
for
Yeah,
being here for us.
for
I
sure.
wanted to say, for starters, that I've been super impressed with the short wait times for hopping into the Zoom pods for support. It's been crazy. I mean, even like during major business hours in the United States, I hopped in there yesterday and I was in a Zoom pod within 30 seconds. I was like shocked. Um,
Yeah, so internally in our systems, we have a way to check who is who. Like if you're brand new in the first like month and a half, your queue time is a lot shorter versus someone who's been here for like 6 months. There's technology that we have behind it where we field brand new customers at a rapid pace versus somebody that's been here for 2 years or whatever. One usually when they come in after 2 years or whatever, they have a more complex problem. So that's enough. They you go to a senior agent. But yeah, we do have technology that helps us on the speed of it. But great observation.
well, but even with that, you know how they have the list of who's there? I mean, there was like hardly anyone waiting. So
Awesome.
it's
Yeah.
super impressive because I've dealt with a lot of other tech support companies. It is like, oh, what's another chapter of the book I can get through before? All right. So
Awesome. Any question around the 5 day challenge?
Yeah, so with a 5 day challenge, it's kind of like my what do you want to call it? My entree to this whole thing. And so I want to look at the big picture for a minute because my background, certified financial planner, it's like I like looking at the big picture and kind of mapping things out rather than doing something and then adding to it.
Yeah.
And so doing the 5 day challenge first, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a beta. In fact, I'm speaking at an AI conference on Monday. So I'm going to
Mhm.
say, hey, look, I'm doing a beta test. If anyone's interested, try my funnel. And then we'll add you to the beta test as we have capability to do so. But the big picture is building a software operating system for my real estate team.
Uh-huh.
And when you're in real estate, you're dealing not just with your consumers and dealing with who your potential clients are, but you're also dealing with other agents and loan officers and all kinds of other people. And they cross over, and so I want to use them all in one database. But I'm seeing some of the con conversation out there are like, well, hey, even though you're a sole operator, you need different sub accounts for different segments you're dealing with, and that seems like that would be cumbersome because the databases aren't connected on the back end.
Yeah, so it depends on, so first of all, real estate is one of the largest industries we have inside of high level. Um, and I think the percentage is like wild. Like it's like 23% of high levelers are in real estate of some kind. So the complexity of real estate setup is there. There's different types of avatars, different types of customers and consumers, and people set it up in so many different ways. Like the multifamily guys, they all have one for each sub account. Then you have the flippers that do, house flipping, and they have one property for one funnel. Like, so I would first recommend you connecting with some of the real estate professionals in the community and getting like a baseline of like, okay, how are you setting this up? And that's probably a good starting point. And now, when you go do your speaking gig, well, first of all, congrats on that. When I think selling from stage is a brilliant way to get launched. So take advantage of that. What I would do is put together a beta of maybe like, 25, 30 people if you can, depending on how big that audience is, and limit it to a smaller amount of people. Don't go buck wild and bring everybody in. And that allows you to kind of map out the different use case scenarios. But at a certain point, you're going to want to have a universal line, like universal way of doing things. And this is the way we do things, no matter who you are, and educate them on how to operate. That's probably what I would do if I were you, is creating like a universal path of every real estate professional that you can work with. In okay, everybody has to first pillar, we're gonna set up your calendars. Second pillar, we're gonna set up your pipelines. Third pillar, we're gonna set up your, I don't know, social tags. Like have like a journey mapped out, and that's more important than the tech. Because once you have the journey mapped out, the tech, you can get anybody to build that out for you or yourself, like however you want to do that. It's not hard to get the tech set up.
Well, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. I used to be a CEO in the Silicon Valley, so I thought I had tech nailed. But
Yeah,
it's
this is different because it's
it's
relevant. It's technology relevant to marketing practices. That's what makes it different. It's not that the tech itself is hard, it's the context behind why a certain feature is built out. That's why, we at High Level, we're agency owners of the past. We had agencies that we ran back in the day where we would duct tape a ton of CRM solutions. And we got to a point we got tired of having 15 different softwares, and we said, man, screw it, let's build out something for ourselves. So initial way of thinking about it is like, how would a marketer look at this? That's the first thing you want to look at. And if you don't have a marketing eye or a marketing knowledge base, and it usually gets kind of out of hand on a lot of these features. But we've came a long way from the olden days. So it's a lot more robust than what it used to be. But I would partner up with some real estate folks that are crushing it, man. I think, spend an hour call with one of them before you do your talk and say, hey, listen, how do you set things up? I'm new to high level. I'm watching all these sessions and challenges and workshops and all of that, but I just want to talk to somebody that's using this in a practical way inside real estate. And there's big players like, the Astro Blaster guys like Jamil and Pace Morby and like a lot of those real estate, even Grant Cardone, to be honest, like a lot of real estate folks use high level today in one way or another, whether it's white labeled or not. But there's plenty of people to connect with on this.
Well, my cell phone is down there, whatever. So hopefully I don't get inundated by calls. But do you mind if I make a suggestion?
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
So these calls where you're talking about the big picture and not really diving into the tech have been fantastic. And I've actually gone back and looked at some of the calls from prior 5-day challenges. And I think what would be really cool as an enhancement would be get your counterpart who knows how to dive into the tech and do a session, every day with them so that we could hop on and have an open forum and they
Yeah.
could actually
We're-
go through and do
yeah.
the same thing on the tech side.
Yeah. So today, with our limited resources, we have created the online course for that tech component. So you go through day two, Chase Buckner goes through step by step on setting this whole thing up. So if you follow that down to the T, you like it's really impossible to if you as long as you follow the exact steps, it works. Our intention with the 5-day challenge is not to necessarily teach everybody the tech. There's over 600 features, and every single week we roll out 20 new features. That's what the main community is for, and that's kind of what we do with the workshops. Like I'm about to do an AI workshop next week, and we're about to spend 4 hours building out workflows. Right.
I
So,
wish
so,
that
so
workshop would have been this week because I'm speaking at the AI conference Monday morning.
well, so yeah, so in the 5-day challenge, our goal is to not overwhelm everyone with the tech. I just want to really help them understand the business model so they can go get recurring revenue. That's the goal. The day two tech that we have inside the course gives you enough to get started. You can do the quick wins. And most people in the 5-day challenge are new to the world of high level. A lot of them are new to the world of business as well. But the official community is where essentially a lot of the advanced stuff is. It's nonstop tech. So this is a community where we like help people get away from the tech for a second. But yeah, we thought about that of having like a dedicated person that handles all tech and they come in and do a workshop with or live streams with me. But the problem with that is like every single business is different, and we have then success rooms. You can jump into a kickoff call and you can get a dedicated person that's going to do tech with you shoulder to shoulder. Like I don't know if you knew that, but like you can jump in on a kickoff call and they walk you through all tech as well at a one-on-one level. So we do have those options in other places.
Yeah, I've been doing the go in and ask a question, and I haven't really done the overview call yet. So hopefully I can still do that
Oh
next
yeah, you
month.
can. Yeah, if you want to get rescheduled or make sure you do it, I think Ethan, if you I don't know if you have the link to the kickoff call, my guy. If you do, please post it. I want to say it's
It's
gohighlevel.com
in
slash
my like
kickoff. Okay.
welcome email, so I can go
Okay.
find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But
Well,
Paulson, I just want to let you know I super appreciate you. I was up till
absolutely.
4 o'clock this morning Pacific time, and then I was actually able to hop on here at 9 a.m. Pacific. And so if my eyes are a little baggy, it's because I was trying to figure out emailing and setting up a funnel for registration for Monday.
No,
So
no
thank you very
problem.
much.
Good luck. Good luck on your talk as you speak. What I would recommend is to make sure you don't overload the crowd with too much technology. Keep it as simple. Talk about the macro sales, prospecting, customer journey type of stuff. I've seen that
Well,
work
the
pretty well.
topic that I'm actually doing is high tech versus high touch, and
Okay,
how
perfect.
so many people are using AI to try to take the human side out, and that the people who are really going to be successful are the ones who use AI to narrow their funnel so they're only dealing on the human side with the really best prospects.
I loved that. I think I speak at a lot of events, and when you go too far detail into the technology, you lose the crowd. So it's great. Like your angle, I think is going to be great. I'm looking forward to hearing some of the results that you generate out of it. And remember your beta. Like in the software world, it doesn't make sense to do a beta for 1,000 people just because they can pay you revenue, because that's actually missed revenue, right? If you
Yeah.
get to 10 people, you can capture the 990 for full price later, right? So because
Well,
you need
and
to
going
decide on
through
the
this
size.
process, setting it up for myself, I had some people, Mark, who offered to let me pay them to do it. I'm like, hey, look, dude, I need to go through this and figure it out, because if I'm going to be onboarding people to my team and setting up their things for them and other real estate agents, I've got to figure out how to streamline this thing and automate the process so
Yeah,
that I can get it done using custom fields or whatever it is, and not spend 23 hours, not exactly 23 hours, but
yeah,
figuring this out. There's got to be a stream way to
yeah.
automate this whole process, especially the A2P, and getting that all set up with the privacy policies and the terms of service and everything.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, thanks for jumping in with your questions. Looking forward to how the event and everything you have in your calendar working out
Thanks.
and play out. Let us know how it all goes.
I will.
Okay.
Have a great weekend.
Okay, take care. Let's go with Dr. M. Hey, thanks for waiting. Appreciate your patience. Let's go ahead and get through your questions. And I'm
Hello,
seeing
Coach. How you doing today? What's
all of you
up?
that are in the Facebook page. Keep the questions coming. I'll get to it as soon as I'm done with the questions inside of our Zoom call here. Yes, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No problem. Hey, Coach, what's up?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, man, it's a great day. Listen, man, only thing I can say is when I grow up, I want to be like you, man. I get the older, I know I'm on my way. Uh, hey, Mark, in the Facebook community, I'm Carl Matthews, so I want to hook up with you, brother. Hey, man, my real question is this: I know we talked a lot about the pricing, the 279, and we talked about the option to
297. Yep.
297, I'm sorry, 297. And we talked about the option to be able to have some leverage to have that onboarding fee.
Yes.
I guess what I'm looking confused about is when we charge that 297, that's a recurring monthly fee.
Yep.
Um, and so does that money, 100% of that money does not, that's not our proceeds, is it? Or is that a split fee with Go High Level?
It's 100% yours.
It's 100% ours.
Yeah. 100% revenue you generate from all SaaS business, anything you build inside of High Level is all yours. So like, yes, you can build a $5-6 million company with this model. Your fee to us will not change, which is incredible because we have people that are in the verge of going through exits. There are companies that are trying to get to NASDAQ with this model, and they pay us 297 a month. Yes, that is correct. You don't have to go invest millions of dollars to launch a software company anymore. You can do it with this operating system and white label it for yourself while you keep 100% of the revenue.
Wow, man, that's a wow moment for me.
That's that's
I know.
that's the crazy thing about high level that people, it's hard for people to understand. We have a hard time educating people and marketing that. But once they understand the power of the business, they're like, holy crap, I have all features in one place, and then I can decide what I want to create as far as a combination to any market. And literally last month with one of our white label improvements was a multi-brand. So that means you can build with the same account multiple brands for different industries all in one without your price changing as well. But anyways, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. But yes, let's go to your question. Let's go to your question.
So the 497, I know I heard that number too. The 497.
Yeah, the 497
That's the
plan we
SaaS
have.
entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the SaaS plan. Yep.
Is that the same thing? Is that a shared cost with High Level and
All
me?
plans, all plans, you can essentially do SaaS,
Okay.
but the 497 plan automates all the SaaS features and all the billing. You don't have to be on 497 to do SaaS. You can do SaaS in with your 297 plan because it's unlimited. But the problem with that is as soon as you get to like let's say 10, 15 customers, you'll see the billing difficulty. Like the billing behind a software company is
Mhm.
very complex because one
Mm.
person will be like, "Hey man, I didn't log in. Can I get a credit for today's inability that I didn't log in?" People will ask you crazy questions like that while they're on a plan. So then
Right.
in a way you have to honor it, right? Because you don't want to be that guy that doesn't honor it. So all of a sudden you're trying to figure out how do I do billing for 29 days instead of 30 days, right?
Right.
Then somebody will reach out and be like, "Hey, can you pause it? I'm going on vacation." And they're coming back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So then all of a sudden, how are you going to bill for 10 days out of 30? So all these different scenarios completely could be automated on top of account creations, launching plans inside the 497 SaaS plan. All that could be manually handled until you get to a certain level. Remember, I said that 25 client mark is like
Right.
that's should be the rule of beta, in my opinion. Like stop after that with your beta. But until then, do some of this stuff manually. Get used to like the different pieces of it, and then upgrade to the 497 plan whenever you're ready to go buck wild into the market. Because at that point you got to automate, because otherwise you'll drown in just handling billing. Um, to your original question of like the 297 setup versus the 297 recurring, those are two different charges. So when you go to the Stripe system or whatever merchant product you're using, 297, the setup fee should be a one-time charge. So in their invoice, they'll see two line items. One line item is for the setup that just only happens in the beginning of the month. Some people will be tempted to waive that. I don't recommend you waiving it,
Mhm.
but it's a separate one-time fee that I think you should collect to cover cost of launching and also for you to build a small little team around you. Like, I want to hire like you can get a VA for like maybe less than $1,000 a month to handle 50 accounts. Like
Mm.
that's a pretty good ratio. And because this is SaaS, account managers can usually handle way more accounts than traditional services. So it doesn't take a lot. So 297 should be a one-time item. 297 monthly recurring. So in the very first day of you doing business, they should be paying like 594 or 597, whatever that is. Beginning of the relationship is when you charge on software, not after at the end of the month.
Okay.
So then now let's go back to A2P. Last couple of cohorts of folks that came into 5 Day Challenge after the A2P stuff went live, guess what? All these business owners have to do A2P with or without you.
Mhm.
It's not a choice, it is law, right? Those businesses won't be able to text as soon as their numbers get blocked, as soon as their texting system goes down. Like, regardless, and it's not a high level thing, this is a carrier thing. So, regardless of what platform they're using, it's the same case scenario. So, you coming in and saying, "Hey, I know how to do HTTP and set that up for you," you can easily charge way more than 297 for setup fee. Matter of fact, a lot of the challengers from the last couple of courses, they're charging $1,000 non-guaranteed for A2P request, because I got to function like an attorney and a lawyer to make sure your business is approved with or without results. Right? When's the last time any of us paid an attorney with guaranteed results? We do it and we don't. Same thing applies. Let them know you have to get approved anyway as a business to text a person in the US now. I'm going to charge you $500. I'm going to charge you $1,000. So now the whole A2P thing is like an additional revenue line, if you
Mm.
ask me. But hopefully that gives you some ideas of how to set up the setup versus a recurring with in respect to A2P. Cool.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Sir.
Awesome. Any follow-up?
No, sir. I'm great. I'm good.
Okay, cool. I'm seeing a few questions here, but it's more for people to connect with each other. Someone said, "What is Google My Business Profile?" I'm gonna let you Google that. But anyways, appreciate y'all jumping in. Today was the last day. Today's Friday. So today's the last day for the 5 Day challenge. We're not going to have a challenge for a while, but in case if any of y'all need anything, Feel free to ask questions in the private Facebook group. I'm also pretty active in our main Facebook group as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. In case if any of you all signed up for our mastermind and you're flying into Dallas, February 7th, 8th, 9th, we have our own masterminds in person that happens. It gets sold out pretty quick, but if any of you signed up, I'm looking forward to seeing you, some of you maybe in person. And then we'll have another mastermind, I think in June or July as well. But make sure you come to our summit, our conference. Those tickets get sold out quick. It's a big celebration that we do every October, so make sure you take advantage of that. Last but not least, if any of you are the sales folks that need some tech help, or vice versa, we have a certifications program that we launched. So make sure you go to our directory for the certifications and check people out and connect with them and see if somebody can do some of this fulfillment for you. I am personally the type of guy that will just pay to have somebody else handle the tech for me. And I love doing sales, so I rather do that. But anyways, appreciate all of you jumping in. Let me know if you have any questions. Remember to log into the online course, take advantage of all the snapshots and everything. I may potentially see some of you for the 3-day workshop next week. We are going to be teaching people how to launch Facebook groups and communities with AI and creating a social selling system where you can monetize communities and small groups, and that probably will apply for a small local area as well. Molly Mahoney is coming in. She's a super genius of all geniuses when it comes to AI stuff. I've actually even met her in person, and we spoke on stage together in one of Digital Marketers events down in Austin. But anyways, looking forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Monday. Stay rested, stay well. Have a great weekend. And Ethan and Jordan, thanks for all your help as well as usual. I know there's a few people trying to jump into the Facebook group. Those guys are gonna help you all. And if you need anything, let us know. Take care. Bye, everybody.